Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a channel message. What I've been channeling the past few days since the eclipse is that there's definitely an imbalance in the scales of justice, I guess is a way to say it. They were showing me like the tarot card. And I think I'm a very empathetic person. If you want to call me an empath, fine. But like for folks who are highly sensitive or empathetic or just have consciousness and a heart, like this world's a really hard place right now, like extra hard right now. I think that the past 6 months have changed absolutely everything for the entire planet. And it doesn't seem to be going in the direction that humanity would appreciate, or the planet, or all living beings. I just wanted to come on and talk about that and how the eclipse, there's another layer of evil that was opened at the eclipse. Regardless of how it was, the darkness was definitely channeled. I felt it. I knew it was happening because you can tell the fear-mongering beforehand, for instance, all were focusing on this manifesting darker entities, portals, energies being able to run rampant, let's say. Baby. So, if you have been feeling very low, defeated, thank you. Thank you. Just know that was done on purpose and by design, and you are not alone. Collectively, I think people are just fucking tired of it. Especially like here in the United States. But the only place that you're gonna really see that is TikTok. Because when you go to the grocery stores, or I don't know, I don't work out in the world. I don't know what people are saying, but I do know what's being translated about society from people who are experiencing that, right? The violence is picking up. The terrorism done by white supremacists, both in governing bodies and independently, is ramping up. The governing bodies or powers that be and their restrictions of bodily autonomy, pursuit of happiness, any sort of human rights are going up. And that's talking about, like, for instance, the abortion ban here that just happened in Arizona, or the cost of living, right? Rent increases. What I'm trying to say in the channeled part is that they're scrambling, they being the powers that be, throughout all of these things. And we know that the scales of justice are uneven right now. Evil is doing everything they fucking can to maintain the narrative, the power, the control, to colonize, to desensitize us all to the human condition, especially under genocide, right? All of that to say is that we, good folk, can remain grounded and can continue building. I know it's so hard because I'm in this space right now personally, which I think is why I'm being compelled to share. I want to build beautiful things, and I'm having to constantly remind myself that it is worth it, that there is a point to invest in the future, because some days I just feel like there's not going to be any future. But then I remind myself that revolution is not just destruction, it's also rebuilding, reclaiming, and standing in that power of envisioning, that's how we tip the scales. All of us, oh, I really needed this message. I'm so happy I'm delivering it. All of us who see that future that we want for our children, have to continue to ground and bring it into fruition. So like, my next step is pretty large, and I'm in this space of like, is there a fucking point? Should I fucking do this? How? You know, I know it, I can see it, I can see the future of this. I can see it all. But getting there feels absolutely impossible. And I have to constantly remind myself that I'm also holding other people's energy, which I don't think there's anything wrong with. I think that's very important. But I am a very sensitive person. And so we are again talking about balance, right? The scales of justice are imbalanced. And within ourselves, we have to do the best we can to stay balanced. I want to touch on the spiritual psychosis that happened. The fear-mongering has led to... Hang on. Anyway, I myself have been through spiritual psychosis. It's not cute. And at the time, there wasn't like words for it, so I was just, thrown in jail in a mental institution. Y'all know the story. Hang on, I'm delivering pancakes. But anyway, when we're not balanced, when we're not focused on building what we want our future to be to the best of our ability, right? Like the powers that be are putting all of these literal and figurative checkpoints in place to ensure the demise of all of us. But part of my visionary being is doing everything I can to make those powers obsolete. You know what I mean? For me, it looks like building more community spaces. What does it look like for you? Figure that out, figure out how you yourself can ground in different realities to counter the injustice that we're seeing, and then do that. Whether it's just when you're out in the world being the best person you can be to strangers, helping uplift other folks, whether it's the mutual aid or the collective economics or cooperative economics, whether it's just sharing or helping out or volunteering. Like, we really have to get back into these spaces. And I understand that capitalism has made it so that we really don't have any time. I understand that. If you have any privilege, whether it be time, resources, money, spaces that you can host things, the ability to, participate in other actions or movements, whatever it is, we really have to take a big step forward as collectives who want to see a better world, and really do what we can to make that a reality, to even out the scales of justice. And that doesn't have to be political, I don't even feel like it is. I just feel like we're at a really intense time for humans and for the planet and for all the living beings. Like all the living beings, like plants too, like they're polluting everything. Capitalism, empires only are supposed to last about 250 years, and so America's like 248 I think this year. So we're really in a very intense space. And if you think about it that way, then it's like, oh, okay, only 2 more years until we can take over, right? To stay grounded in that fact of like, very soon this justice is just going to catapult, and it's not going to be sustainable to any degree for anybody. And if that means we all are all, you know, bombed off the planet or whatever. But until then, build shit, all right? I guess that's all the channel message is. Just acknowledge that the injustice is totally imbalanced, and whatever it is that you can do to bring into fruition a new reality that is beneficial for all in the future, please do it. Please do whatever you fucking can. Have a good one.